Whoa, I think it's working.
All right.
Yay!
Triumphs.
So there's going to be a delay. Okay, can you do me a favor? So
Miles.
1 second, I'm just going to connect us to the David Graeber Industries website.
Sounds great. Oh.
I need to log into this. Isis, you're very kind and patient. Welcome. I'd like to offer you a snack.
I have a snack. Thank you so much.
We're really close.
I'll mute myself so I don't chew at you guys.
Okay. Okay. 1 step at a time.
Where's your mask?
I like your mask, Mara.
Thank you. I just made it before I came on this call. Can you tell?
I could not tell.
Yeah.
This eyeball is too big for the hole. Or maybe the hole's too small for the eyeball.
I wonder where other people are.
Yeah, we had a few people register.
We had quite a few people register.
You said something like 30 people.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
And there's only 5.
Thanks for counting, honey.
I didn't count. It just tells me. It just tells me how many participants there are.
Still can't find the shirt I want. Oh well.
Isis, are you also Yashlad?
Wait, am I what?
Is your name also Yashlad?
Different person.
Okay.
I'm just Isis Farrell.
Got it.
Miles.
Yeah.
The stove was on.
Huh?
The stove was on.
I didn't turn it on.
It's on.
It's on.
You know, the David Graeber site, the video there has been down for at least a couple of hours.
Say that again?
The David Graeber, the video on David Graeber's site has been down for these live stream there.
Okay.
So that might be something that might be effective.
Okay, I see something now on my end about a live stream on YouTube. So does that mean we are currently on YouTube?
We are definitely currently on YouTube.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if anybody's watching, but
But they can.
I sent a link to everybody. I have been wondering if people are waiting in a different room, like I'm a little paranoid. But you're here, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
I sent the same link to everybody.
right. And this is the only link I got. You know, I don't know like where else they would have tried to log in to or from.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Let me get my notes here.
Why am I the only one in costume?
Yeah, did you guys have masks?
Welcome.
Sick. Beautiful.
Welcome everybody. Where are my notes? Oh, beautiful, Miranda. Hey, Eric, do you want to come and get in with your mask?
What's up?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'm looking here, people are arriving. I imagine more people will arrive as we continue. If people want to see the live stream, I will. Do you see it, Isis? Oh, I'm having like really like severe displacement. Here is the, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Arriving, I imagine more people will
God.
arrive as we continue, continue to go live. Okay, I have to close the live thing because I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
Sorry.
I am like, I feel like I am smearing in time and space. I feel quite out of my body. Okay, will everyone just take like a great big deep breath with me? How about one more? Awesome. Thanks everybody for showing up, joining us for Electrons Dance. We are a Bay Area gathering of the David Graeber Intergalactic Memorial Carnival. We are streaming live on YouTube, so know that that is happening. And I'd like to begin actually by first introducing the person who got this whole party started, Sarah Marie Neilson. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. It's great to see all of you. I had really no idea what to expect from this. Actually, I was a host in part because of a really kind of beautiful misunderstanding. I didn't realize I was listed as a host until Annabelle, who we might be meeting later, hopefully, emailed me and said that's how I was listed on the website. And I thought, oh, wow, well, okay, this is certainly something I feel strongly about, a facet of this memorial coming from here that I can attend. And then Elizabeth emailed me shortly after and had a lot of resources at her disposal that covered pretty much everything I would not have known how to do. And it just worked out really beautifully. I'm still really kind of reeling from the fact that, he just all of a sudden wasn't here. And I'm glad we're coming together in whatever way we can from all corners of the globe to just talk about Graeber's work and either directly or indirectly talk about kind of what we want to do with those ideas from here. Obviously, the world goes on and a lot needs to be changed in it. And I think he's a really special person in that we can't really talk about celebrating his life without talking about how we'd like to change this planet we're on. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you for being here.
You're muted. You're muted.
Thanks, honey. My name is Elizabeth Travelslight. I am one of several community organizers who are putting together a project called IAFS. We are hosting this event with our community resources. So welcome to IAFS. Our project as a school is to undertake teaching and learning as a free exchange of mutual aid in order to develop the expressive skills, critical engagement, and artistic practices of our community. David Graeber certainly animates the work of our school. Shit.
It's all good. It's a lot at once. It's a lot at once. That's part of why we're here. It's okay.
He animates my work as a teacher. And yeah, I too felt his loss, like so suddenly and so profoundly. And so when the opportunity to organize something on behalf of his memory came up, I did not want to miss this chance. So thank you all for being here. And a little bit more about our school. The abbreviation IAFS doesn't yet have a meaning. It started simply as the reversal of SFAI, which stands for the San Francisco Art Institute, and that is the institution from which our free school emerged. What IAFS stands for will be determined in the making of our school. So we're currently in the process of developing our school through a course called How to Become a 21st Century Art School. You can find the registration details on our website, i-a-f-s.org. And we are extremely happy. I'm extremely happy to have connected with Sarah Marie. I had the most, I saw her name on the David Graeber Industries website as someone in San Francisco who wanted to organize the intergalactic carnival here. And I just emailed her out of the blue, one of those emails. Sarah and I talked about this earlier today, the emailing a stranger and finding a friend. Okay, so with that, we like to begin our classes, our gatherings together with a drawing exercise. So Mara, do you feel comfortable describing the exercise, and I'll cue up the music? Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know we were gonna do this. Yeah, basically it's a grounding exercise that goes around in circles. So how I like to do it is whenever I'm needing, I just made this mask, so I'm unraveling. Whenever I'm needing grounding or like centering in a group, I like to do this in groups and classes and stuff. And I usually start from the middle, and I take my favorite pen, and I like to experiment with different pens, see what different pens feel like, different papers. But I do the smallest spiral that I can without any of the lines touching, without stopping and without looking away, and see if I can do that, because sometimes it proves harder than you think. And it creates a lot of like really great focus and attention and creative collective concentration. It's more fun than it sounds to me, at least. You're on mute.
You're muted, just so you know.
Who?
Can you guys hear the music?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry. That felt good. Hi, Justin. Oh, that's for the dance party later in case anybody wants to dance. Hi, Justin. We were just doing some grounding warm-up exercises. You can share all the links, Mara. Thanks for doing that, everyone. Does anyone want to share their spiral?
I did one. Can you see me?
Nice. I love doing that exercise. It really helps. I find, like, especially launching into the Zoom with like making the connections line up. I was a little bit like, wah! But now I feel like much more present. So thank you. Fantastic. There is a memorial assembly guide that was shared by our friends at David Graeber Industries. Do people want to review that? It's a small group, so I think we can probably just like get along with like words, chat, and gestures. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay, it seems a bit formal for a small group. And
yeah, I feel
awesome.
Somebody jumps in, it'll be fine. We'll
Great.
work it out.
And then one of the other ways we sometimes like to start our gatherings is for everyone to take a turn introducing themselves. And we've started a practice where we go from youngest to oldest.
Mhm.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Z?
Yes. So my name is actually Miranda, and I am 7 years old, and this is my mask I made, and my pronouns is her, they.
Thanks
Okay.
so much. Do you want to
Count
count
on?
us? Do you want to count on?
Yes.
So she's going to
Okay.
start counting, and when she gets to your age, just raise your hand and you can be the next person to introduce yourself.
Okay, here I go. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Just kidding.
Go ahead, Mara.
Seriously?
Do I look 10? Keep counting.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm 23, and my pronouns are they, them, and I'm okay with she sometimes, and I live in Daly City. Keep counting.
Okay. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32.
That's me. I'm 31.
Hi.
My name's Justin. I'm from the UK. I met David once. He was a great inspiration to me in a lot of ways. So I'm just kind of popping in and out of various different Zooms and remembering him.
Thank you for joining us.
It's not nice to be in your presence.
Okay.
Okay.
23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37,
That's me.
Uh,
As of very recently, I just had a birthday a couple days ago. My name is Sarah Marie, as you know. And yeah, hi, Dustin. I'm glad we're having, we can kind of jump around to different parts of the globe here. I am a writer and I'm also in a teaching credential program. And like you were saying before, Elizabeth, I think Graeber informs definitely a lot of my philosophy in terms of teaching and education. And I would hope writing too. He's a marvelous writer. I think a lot of what he does with nonfiction that's so invigorating can be applied to fiction too. Oh shoot, you're muted again.
You want to keep counting?
Yeah, you're
Miranda?
muted.
Do
Huh?
you want to keep counting?
Yeah. I was just letting people in.
Okay,
Okay. What number?
37.
37 was my age.
37?
Yes.
38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 40. 44.
Right, I'm still
Maybe you.
44.
Hello.
I'm still 44. I turn 45 in a few weeks. So right, my name is Elizabeth, and I work in higher education, and it's one of the reasons why David was such a guiding star. How to navigate higher education with a radical sense of possibility. I teach at the California College of the Arts. I formerly taught at the San Francisco Art Institute. IAFS is a free school project that I work on with several collaborators. And the spirit of mutual aid has been a guiding principle for the school from the beginning. And I teach David's work to my students, mostly debt, the 5,000-year history. And I did not know him. I think I started following him on Twitter, and I thought maybe I would message him once, but I'm shy on Twitter. But yeah,
Ready?
a good friend to think with. Yes, honey, go ahead, 44.
45.
Hold on one second. So for the people that have just arrived, if you are younger than 44, you are invited to take a turn introducing yourself. And if you're older than 44, when Z gets to your age, if you want to volunteer to take a turn introducing yourself, now is your chance. Okay, go ahead.
45, 46, 47, 48, 40.
Oh, oh, Dawn Blair is 47. This is Dawn, but I'm doing baby sleep time right now, haha. Okay, so he'll come back. Thanks, Dawn. Kate, have we done your age already? 33. Do you want to take a turn introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm just a random anarchist. Because David's work has really influenced my work a lot, and just thought I'd check in and pay my respects because I quote him all the time and stuff. So
Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Miranda, are you,
What?
go
I'm
ahead.
still here.
I think the only person who hasn't introduced themselves yet is Adam Cope. Adam, would you like to take a turn introducing yourself?
Sure. Sorry, I was doing other stuff on my computer, trying to figure out Zoom on my computer. Not that I don't. Anyways, hi, my name is Adam. I too am a random anarchist. I was given an invite to this group by Joshua Ramey, who I believe is going to be speaking later in this thing. I actually got to know David Graeber, well, through his work. And I've never got to meet him, unfortunately. But through his work, through Joshua Ramey, and Debt, the first 5,000 years is a book that I have bought multiple copies of to give to people. Because after I read my copy, I had to talk about it with other people. And in order to talk about a book you love, you have to have other people that have also read that book. And I think buying someone a book and telling them to read it is like a form of hazing or abuse, you know, like, hey, you have to read this. But fortunately enough, most
It's
people.
like so big.
Yes, it's so big. Like, here, I bought you this doorstop. Please take it seriously. But fortunately, most people that have read it call me or text me by the end of the first or second chapter with their minds blown, because David did such a good job of taking a very, very ambitious and difficult historical project or anthropological project and making it accessible to people who don't have a background in theory or economics or anti-capitalism in general. And I think that's why I'm here, I guess, because David touched my life in a way that, you know, I'll never forgive him for. So it's been quite a wild ride since I read Debt, the first 5,000 years politically for me. But yeah, that's who I am and why I'm here.
Thank you. I think, was that everyone? Everyone got a turn to introduce themselves? Awesome. So yeah, Zoom parties are kind of, I guess, a 2020 thing. I have a drink. 1 second. So what Sarah Marie and I were thinking is we would just, especially it's nice that we're a small group. If people wanted to take turns sharing their a performance or a passage from David's work, I actually ended up bringing this, which was the topic of some of David's last bits of writing. So I was going to read from that because it's really beautiful. So it's actually Peter Kropotkin. And then after that, we can, I would like to take a group photo. And then I was thinking if we wanted, we could do like a smaller group, like breakout room session where people can just like mingle, and we can sort of do like 5-minute, like round robin, like mingle with people and just share your stories, and get to know each other. I think from now on, I just need to introduce myself as a random anarchist. Like, I think that sums it up more than almost anything else I can think of sometimes. And then we will, I don't know, and then we'll say goodbye and maybe hope to meet again. Does that sound like a good plan for people? Okay, and just to remind everyone, we are streaming live on YouTube right now. And so here's the link if you want to share it with anybody. They can. And if you want to share the link to this Zoom with anybody, if you want to invite them to join in, also feel free. So with that, does anybody want to take, does anyone want to take a turn reading or performing?
Can you call me when you do the breakout room?
Yes. Did anyone volunteer while I wasn't looking? I can go first. Okay. And Mara, do you mind if I make you a co-host in case I don't see anybody trying to come in? Okay. Thank you. So this is Peter Kropotkin's Mutual Aid. I believe it was first published in 1902. This pamphlet, which I got in the mail, was published in 1945. I just think about like how much income inequality has like gone off the rails like since 1945. Feels good to touch something from that time. It's union printed. So this is the condensed version, so it's a tiny pamphlet. I think the book is much longer. And the first chapter is just these really beautiful descriptions of mutual aid among animals. Maybe I'll just and there are just so many stories. I'll just start at the beginning and just read the first couple paragraphs. Chapter 1, mutual aid, a factor of evolution. Chapter 1, mutual aid among animals. As soon as we study animals, not in laboratories and museums only, but in the forest and the prairie, in the steppe and the mountains, we at once perceive that though there is an immense amount of warfare and extermination going on amidst various species, and especially amidst various classes of animals, there is at the same time as much, or perhaps even more, of mutual support, mutual aid, and mutual defense amidst animals belonging to the same species, or at least to the same society. Sociability is as much a law of nature as mutual struggle. The first thing which strikes us as soon as we begin studying the struggle for existence under both its aspects, direct and metaphorical, is the abundance of facts of mutual aid, not only for rearing progeny, as recognized by most evolutionists, but also for the safety of the individual and for providing it with the necessary food. With many large divisions of the animal kingdom, mutual aid is the rule. Mutual aid is met with even amidst the lowest animals, and we must be prepared to learn someday from the students of microscopial pond life facts of unconscious mutual support, even from the life of microorganisms. I'll pause there, but I could go on and on. It's so good.
I love that book.
Yeah, it's been really a helpful guide the last couple days, few weeks. Yeah. Does anybody else want to take a turn?
Sarah, you're muted.
Thank you. I can definitely go next if no one else wants to go next. This was just me gathering some thoughts late the other night, and I'll share them with you because that's really what they're for. Hopefully outside my window, my background noise won't be too much. We'll just see. He taught me money was just as creative, just as created, just as decided, and could be just as strange, just as fluid, just as vital, or just as frivolous as art. We talk about making money, and we talk about making music, but one of them makes the world spin and the other we can take or leave. He wrote so beautifully about what we got backwards, about what we got upside down. He believed that by breaking things open and making new shapes with them, we could make something more powerful, enduring, life-giving, and sensible than money. David Graeber really believed we could change everything about this world, all of it. He taught us there was no unbreakable truth, no unshakable system. It's up to us, a grand, collective, massive, shifting, multi-everything, us. He believed it for real. This is why the words leapt from the pages, got us thinking, wait, you're right. Why have I always accepted this, never asked about that? He did not equate love or respect with money. He equated both with creativity. To love someone in David Graeber's world was to stoke their imagination, encourage their weirdness, rip through their obligatory answers to get to something at the heart of their thinking. I didn't know him, not really. But I've thought of his words as often as if they were conversations with close friends in my head. He said that engaging writing is being kind to the reader. And that's a revolution right there. To be a great writer, not because the world deserves my brilliance, but because I'm thinking about you, the reader. And I want to show you by good words that I value your attention. That is a philosophy to create by. And yet Nika told me he was actually lonely. Can you believe it? Someone who's made the world an infinitely more inquisitive, intelligent, hopeful place, and he had no idea. In the last months that I didn't know were the last months, I asked him if there was any way he could film some of his new thoughts or lectures because we would love to hear them. And he said, "Who's this we?" I didn't even have to answer. The chorus came, dozens of Twitter handles saying, all of us who love your work, me and me and me and me and me and me and me. But did he hear it? I learned so many things from the books. I'll never stop learning from the books. But from the man, I learned, leave nothing unsaid. Never assume, no matter how surrounded, that any one human being knows how respected they are, that anyone knows how loved. This is the most impossible moment to celebrate the life of a person, and yet we're here. We're all around the world together. I miss him, but we have each other. You would say, together, we're enough. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you all for being here.
Does anybody have a book handy and a passage they would like to share or a performance? Or just a few words, if you just want to say a little bit about why you're here.
I'm pretty new to his work. I'm just getting back into reading. I took a long break because all I was reading was comics. But in the short passages and excerpts I've read, I've felt really like seen by him, and like the I think something Sarah said about like that someone who cares that much can like have such an impact on so many people that he's never even met, I think is incredible. And to feel seen outside of engaging with that much of his writing is really cool. I don't have anything to share. I'm just excited to be here.
Thanks, Mara. Thanks for being here. I think we have somebody else who just entered. Hi, is it Yash?
Hi there. Hi. Yeah, that's right.
Hi, welcome. We're just taking turns sharing our memories of David's work. And if you want to take a moment to introduce yourself, I know you just got here, so I don't mean to put you on the spot. And a reminder that we're streaming live on YouTube, which is new for me and new for our school.
Of course.
Did you want to take a moment to introduce yourself? Welcome.
Yeah, sure thing, sure thing. Hi everyone. Hopefully you can see me. Yeah, no, I am an ex-student of David's, so I think I had the chance to, yeah.
For our school.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. But yeah, I think like I had a chance to sort of study under him back in 2017, and yeah, no, I'm in the Bay Area now. So I moved to San Francisco at the end of last year, but yeah, it was my hope to at some point, go back to academia, and I'm currently in the private sector. So I was hoping to go back to academia and hopefully pursue research with David as my supervisor. So that was something I was looking forward to. So obviously, like everything that's happened has been a shock. But then, yeah, it was just been so great today to like be part of this big global carnival and like not I mean, obviously we're all grieving, but just to see it as a celebration, it's been really nice. So I've just been jumping across Zoom calls and just thanking everyone for their good vibes, I guess.
What other Zooms have you attended?
I was just in another one with a couple of his other students, so just three of us basically talking about David's work. That's also, I think, on the Western time zone. Then I attended the London one earlier this morning, which was really great fun as well. They had a live band and everything. Then there was the one in Zuccotti Park, which was really nice, where that was like a proper, like Occupy Part 2 almost, I guess. So yeah, like just basically in and out from most of them. But yeah, I think it's interesting because each group has something different to share about David.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Somebody put a question in the chat for you. Dawn is asking, can you describe a bit the experience of being in his class? What's it like to have been his student?
Yeah, I would say just, I mean, I guess like, like there's like some academics who like the celebrity status, and then some who don't really like it that much, and David was definitely like the second type. So in his class, you couldn't tell that this is someone who's published, tons of books, who's like, published groundbreaking work in theory, because his whole interest was on like creating that discussion. So he was just almost facilitating the discussion, So I think like the thing that annoyed me the most, but I also liked the most about him was in his class, like if someone had an interesting question, he would always say, like, what do other people think? And then give that question back to the class, which like if you're in that moment, you can be like, oh, just answer the question, man. But like that's how you learn, So he would actually he was very participatory, I guess, in what in his teaching. And he also had like this really eclectic collection of readings, So each week it was like the class we took was about value, like anthropological theories of value. But it had like a wide range of different like each week had like very different themes, One could be about like ontology, one could be about workers' movements in Italy, one could be about like old anthropological theories that no one really talks about anymore. So like very wild range of like diverse set of readings as well. So and like the best thing is also like he used to annotate every single reading that he put. So you would actually have like 3 or 4 lines of what he personally thought of that particular work. So, and that's like, it's going really in depth, and he made all those, yeah. So yeah, it was a great experience. I only wish like I'd actually like read more of those things so that I could have had more engaging discussions with him. But that's something for the future.
Thanks so much for sharing. We've had a couple new arrivals. I think is it Jenka and Miguel? Hi, welcome. We've been taking turns just introducing ourselves and sharing a little bit about our connection to David and stories. If either of you would like to take a turn, now is your chance. Although I know that we also just started and, or you just got here, so I know that's a lot. And also just as a reminder, this is streaming live to YouTube, which is, hi, Miranda, there's another kid here. Hi, Chenka.
I'm ready.
Hello.
I her mask.
Yes.
I let her borrow my mask.
So
My
nice
mask.
of you.
I have more masks.
Mom,
So what am I introducing?
Yes, we're just taking turns. Introducing ourselves and sharing a little bit about why we're here, why we want to be together in David's memory.
I knew David in the early 2000s in New York City when we were protesting global capitalist enterprises, and I was in the bike circus, and he was a theorist, but also engaged in lots of direct actions with us.
I'm gonna go find a new mask.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Awesome. Thanks, honey. Thanks so much for being here. Really nice to see other kids, I have to say. Well, okay, it is now, we were thinking what we would do is take a group photo. Are people up for taking a group photo? Okay, let me get my screen capture here.
Wait, my mom is getting her other.
Okay, if you have a mask or a special virtual background or what have you. Okay, on the count of 3. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Okay, let's do that one more time just for luck. Hold on. I've got like so many windows open. Okay, one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Thanks, everybody. And then the next, the next thing we were going to do was like some small like breakout rooms of, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us. So I'll do breakout rooms of about 3, and then there will be an extra. Yeah, Mara.
I actually have to run.
Okay.
Now that it's 5, but it was really nice to meet you all.
Take care, Mara. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for hosting. Bye, guys.
Bye. So breakout rooms of 3, and we can just kind of like cocktail party mingle. I don't know how that will play on Zoom on the live. Maybe I could pause it, I guess. If I pause it, I don't know if I'll be able to start it again, honestly.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea though. I can see, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just, oh, and I think, how many are we now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm just gonna try the breakout rooms.
You can see how many participants there are in the button participants. Okay,
and I will, kids know Zoom so well, like I can't keep up. Okay, and let's say like 6 minutes, and then I'll bring everybody back, and then we'll remix it. Okay, great. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm alone. Okay.
Did that make a difference?
Yes.
I can hear you.
All right. This doesn't really need to stream on YouTube though, these breakout sessions. Let's see what we can do about that.
Join breakout room. No. I want to be the host. Then I can destroy everything. Huh? Oh, he probably.
This form of relationship that can still yet evade the forces of capitalism. And yeah, and my friendship with Sarah Marie, just like it, I don't know what your experience was, Sarah Marie, but I feel like it just like, it was rapid growth, like deep and fast. And really was like what made all of this, all of this come together, certainly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Would you guys like to do another small breakout room? I can read a little bit more from mutual aid. If anybody wants to do a little reading, now is your chance. What would people like to do? We're a small enough group where I feel like we can improvise.
I was actually curious. I mean, this is just an idea, really. But I mean, I'm sure like this year has just 2020 has been pretty like a rough year for so many people. So, but also I guess in my case, I think it's probably the first time I've like had like so many series of bad news one after the other. But I'm sure there's folks way more experienced. So I was curious, like just to have like people's thoughts about how they are like sort of seeing the way forward, you know, like how they plan to sort of heal when something like this happens. Like not forget about the person who's passed away, but like continue the legacy, but also like see some sort of hope in the future, you know, in whatever way possible, really.
Does anyone want to take a turn? The way forward. I guess I'll take a turn unless really, does anybody else want to take a turn? When shelter in place came to San Francisco, I was teaching at a school called the San Francisco Art Institute. And for a variety of reasons, the school was just not in strong shape to withstand some really dramatic decision making. And the fallout from that was really difficult for the students, and it was really difficult. It was difficult for everybody. I'm an adjunct professor, so and part of the adjunct faculty union at the school, and you know, there are these moments right when shelter in place happened, when it was like the economy like cooled, like we went to like Kelvin, like 0 Kelvin capitalism. Like if you could like just dial everything down to like a complete halt, like completely around the world. Like that's kind of was my experience of it, the feeling of it. And it was such a liberating feeling. Rebecca Solnit, who is based in San Francisco, has a book called Paradise Built in Hell, The Extraordinary Communities That Arise in Disaster. And she writes about, she writes in the book about this exhilaration that people feel sort of after like large natural disasters or unnatural disasters. And part of that exhilaration, right, is our freedom from the routine that governs our lives, and this opportunity to sort of see and be with each other in a completely different, very immediate, often very geographic way. And we feel suddenly like connected in a way that the routines of the economy kind of hide from us. So I felt that in the early weeks of shelter in place. And it was really in that time it felt like an open moment, and wanting to kind of explore that moment as fully as possible, because I did have the sense that it feels fleeting. You know, we're a few months in now to the pandemic, and I'm back into, you know, we need functioning routines just to get along. And, you know, especially like we have a child and they need routines. And so I feel like some of that open moment feeling is starting to fade away. But in that moment, we created our free school. And I think our free school is one of the things that gives me a lot of like hope for the future, in the sense that we're really experimenting in we're experimenting on what mutual aid brings to the exchange of learning. So how do we recreate, redefine, reconceptualize the relationships that we have to each other for the purposes of learning? Because we're former faculty and former students of an institution. Everyone's welcome, but that's how it started. And what does it mean to take money out of the exchange of learning? And for me, I've been teaching for almost a decade, and it's been really profound. I think it changes a lot. And I do this work simultaneously with my work as a professor at an accredited, very expensive fine arts college. So I feel like I have like one foot in, you know, the old economy, and I have one foot in this other form of relationship and exchange. And we all have to do that dance, or I have to do that dance. And I think that, but I feel good nurturing our free school, because I know that it's really ultimately the most sustainable thing. And if that feels good. So I think that's my answer to your question, Josh.
Thank you so much.
Does anyone else want to, we have some new people who've arrived. If anyone wants to jump in, I am hosting my first live stream Zoom party. Sarah Marie, do you have anything you would like to add?
Let's see. Sorry, I turned off my video here to get a better connection. I think everything you said is really important. As far as that huge question asked before about the way forward, you know, what do we do? I think my hope is, my continual hope is, it can be hard to kind of keep in touch with this moment to moment, but I really feel like part of the reason why we're witnessing just such a massive crack in everything right at this moment has to do with you know, a lot of the sort of rotten at its start things that David Graeber so beautifully eloquently pointed out with every system. And I'm hoping that the kind of the uncertainty and the anxiety and the sadness that's wrapped up in this moment that we're carrying right now is part of a transition to something that's going to be kind of truly better from the ground up. I really feel like that's possible, and I feel like when I think about personal change, kind of how much it can hurt to really bring kind of issues to the surface and make healthy, transformative changes for your own life, I'm hoping we're seeing just a parallel there on a global scale, on a systemic scale. And I don't have any answers so far for that, but I see a lot of people really working to kind of integrate. There's so much knowledge that we're kind of hungrily clawing for about, like, let's overturn these things we were once taught about sort of who rules things and why they rule things, politics of power, what power is. I see a lot of people trying to overturn old ideas about that. And I think as long as we work to keep doing that and keep facing these truths that can be painful, it's going to get better at some point. I feel like it has to. And I feel like this is the tunnel, the like murk-filled tunnel we're all kind of crawling through in 2020 here. And that's been on my mind a lot.
Thanks, Sarah Marie. Does anybody else want to chime in? Yash, it was such a thoughtful question, but really you were asking how are people kind of coping and also thinking about the future? Is that right?
Yeah, more or less. And yeah, it's super, you can take it to mean really anything. Like for me, like absolutely like Sarah Marie's answer. Thanks so much. I think again, that's just so great to hear like that positive, like these sorts of positive words, because I think it's kind of inspiring that, yeah, like we all still here and we still like, you know, like in the context of David, like, you know, we'll take his legacy and like we'll do creative things and like, you know, we'll bring in that positive world. And like this is almost like a sort of growing pain, you know, of towards like a better situation for all of us. It's just, yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, it is comforting to hear, but it's also just very empowering to hear, you know.
Yeah, I have another thought.
Please. Hi.
Hi, sorry, I jumped in a bit late.
You're very welcome.
So I am originally from somewhere in China, and so this is, you know, interesting for me because this is not the first time I have shelter in place. So this is not first time shelter in place. It's not first time quarantine. This is not new, although it is longer. So it's interesting, I think, from sort of a Chinese, if you will, or Chinese American perspective, that how the world react differently when you're not used to this sort of thing. So when pandemic begins or any pandemic happens, it is very natural for Chinese government to say, well, we're going to lock down, stay in place, nobody moves, we're going to hunker down and then until problem solved. And so now this is considering a lot of things. This is considering you already have sort of a social bubble that's bigger than that of Euro-American because Chinese families are generally multi-generational. And so within a bubble, you're less likely to have individual bites by themselves. You're more likely to have families all shelter in place together. So your grandmas, grandpas, uncles, sometimes uncles and aunts and cousins. So, so that's a factor. Another factor is the average Chinese are more likely to save than that of Americans, I would say, but in general, it's one of the highest income to saving ratios. So with that in mind, I think one of the things, even though these things are really key factors in sort of Chinese going through different sorts of lockdowns and shelter in place. I think another inspiration for me had always been, and I could go through this. I went through this as a kid in elementary school. And it was, so I had a really different perspective the first time going through a 3 months lockdown compared to this time. It was actually, you know, I think it was an interesting time for me as a kid. And so although this is a very dark time, I had the privilege of having a history of being in lockdown. I have a privilege of knowing, sort of from, you know, relatively privileged kids' perspective, if you will, to say that things will end one way or the other. But if I don't do anything, it will never end. If I do something, perhaps in the relative right direction, something will happen. But if we do nothing, let's say we're still having the life go as it is, we're still going out partying, whatever, then it may not, and we're just surely hoping. But if we can do something, you know, meet the end, I think. But the fact that, you know, having that history and knowing that has been a big comfort for me. So like, I'd love to share this with everyone, just to, you know, have folks know that whether you have a kid or you know, first time lockdown, whatever, as long as we do something, it will turn out one way or the other.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's really valuable. I think histories, whether we're talking about like the past or just people's histories that aren't our own, are so valuable for putting things into perspective. And I think that is you know, your voice here and your experiences here are particularly fortifying, I think the word would be, for those of us who are just like, oh my God, this is so surreal. Oh my God, this is unprecedented, you know, is a word we're hearing a whole lot in America. And I think every story you have that can kind of break apart that narrative of humanity has never done this, to say, wait, actually, yeah, we have. I did it. My family did it. We've been through this. I think that is one of the most just incomparably priceless wells to draw from, is just to kind of put aside our and I'd say our, meaning I think a lot of America, but maybe other parts of the world as well, are just sort of idea of like, oh, we are going through this thing that no one's ever faced. I think that's a huge step to really strength in figuring this all out, is to be like, wait a sec, no, we're going through things that other people can certainly teach us about and we can learn from. So thank you so much for sharing that.
I think Jenka, also now a friend. Do you have your hand up?
Yeah, it looks like my daughter changed her name. I'd shared something in the chat which came to mind when you were talking about that, which is like, it's a paper that I wrote as a graduate student in the School of Education and Pedagogy of the Edges, Anarchism, and the Implicate Order. And in the preface, I talk about like some of my experiences as an activist and how there are certain moments that feel like openings in the capitalist system. Like how, and at those moments when things break, it exposes capitalism at its worst and it shows humanity at its best. So like I give the example of New Orleans after Katrina, where I was there and you saw neighbors saving their neighbors from drowning and then standing on the second floor deck and having a barbecue to share all the meat from their refrigerator so it wouldn't go bad. Guevara, did you just sign me out?
We're still here with you.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hi.
I'm still.
Anybody else want to?
So,
go ahead.
I was still just wanted to finish that thought, if that's all right.
Please.
That like in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, where you saw like capitalists using the devastation to justify the disenfranchisement of hundreds of thousands of people to take over their land for like a commercialized version of New Orleans. But before all that happened, there was this opening where, like, in the midst of the deep pain and the loss, then you saw how the decentralized, non-hierarchical networks and structures worked so much more effectively. So, like the relief organization that we set up, just as people on the ground working together, was so much more effective that FEMA and Red Cross were sending people to us. And that's like what David talks about when he says, you know, like, what is anarchism? It's just people working together without needing those structures that dominate us and that tell us what we can't do. That when we're left to our own devices, we, for the most part, do the right thing and help each other out. And I think we see that now in some really amazing ways.
Thanks, Jinka. TJ, I see you have your hand up.
TJ, I see you have your hand up.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, that's really
Welcome.
Oh, should I introduce myself or can I just talk?
Up to you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was really interesting to hear about this paper of yours. I'm new to here, so let's see. The name of the person who just spoke was, I missed it.
Jinka.
My name's Jinka.
Thank you. And
it's on the paper.
One of the sort of horrors I've had of just sort of living society, you know, this sort of feeling that it's a twilight zone, is that people often act unconscious. Through David, I learned about this one theorist called Bourdieu, who's, I guess, pretty well known in the academic world, but not necessarily that known outside. And he has this idea of something called a habitus. So the way he described it is it's basically your unconscious dispositions. You know, it can be the way you walk. It's, you know, the habitus of a capitalist will be different than the habitus of a janitor. And it's sort of your unconscious strategies of how to cope with, you know, all the new situations you can encounter in the world. And so what struck me as sort of all Twilight Zone-ish and kind of horrific about, you know, walking around this world is that, you know, everyone's sort of unconscious. They're sort of going through their life, you know, in these cycles, these 24-hour cycles, oftentimes. When you mentioned, you know, there's sometimes a rupture, you know, capitalism is in crisis, and then people, you know, it brings out the best in people, the worst in capitalism. I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, when people are now supposed to be conscious, they're like looking at a problem, shaking off all of their training, all of that stuff that, you know, they've just sort of, you know, been sleepwalking through, and now they've got to think, they're like, oh my God, let me solve this problem. And the normal methods of control are just sort of, you know, inactive at that moment, nullified for that moment, at least, before it can scramble back and take control of everyone's minds. Yeah, that just spoke to me, and I'd definitely be happy to read your paper. I just downloaded it. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, TJ. I downloaded the paper too. Adam, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I don't know their name because I wasn't looking at the participant list, but the individual from somewhere in China, I love that, said something that really made me think about our response to this, to the shutdown and pandemic. And part of it is that, yes, we've never experienced it before, but it also makes me think, like, so one thing that Graeber's work showed me in talking about how there were ways of keeping debts where the relationship was maintained in a stable relationship when there were like women in a village who would loan small amounts of change to each other, and they would keep track of this, but it would be like socially it'd be a form of cutting off a social relationship if you were to just settle the debt, right? The idea of maintaining the relationship is such that it's never equal. There's always like someone owes someone something. And how much of our freedom, our social freedom, our experience, like social relationships, are based on these very specific material contingencies that we have to maintain, right? There's this idea, I think, about the origin of agency or freedom that is based in concrete material relationships. But in the United States, the pervasive ideology around freedom is that it's a gift from God, and that it's something that we're owed, as opposed to an effect of us maintaining social relationships that are like conducive towards mutual aid, care, provisioning, and so forth. So it's an interesting perspective to have someone who has experienced the routine of shutting down or sheltering in place, and the way that works. Obviously, the most conducive form of that is to not do it in social isolation, but instead like shelter in place with the very social networks that like make you know, like the very concrete matrix of human relationships that make up who you are. It makes me feel very much in the way that Graeber shedding light on different ways of like different understandings of what or how the debt relation could be used, that aren't punitive. So I don't know, that's a lot of thoughts. I apologize. But it made me think. So I appreciate the insight and the perspective.
Thanks, Adam. I have a couple people. I'm taking stock, I guess. I have Justin, and then Jinka, and then TJ. You want to go ahead, Justin?
So I was thinking about that question on going forwards and like the future. So I was thinking David could see the potential and the genius within all of us, really. The world is undoubtedly a better place for the ideas and critiques that he was able to share in his time here. I hope they live on and inspire many more. With the neoliberal late-stage capitalist world imploding, I can't help but feel an immense sense of loss and apprehension that we must face whatever comes next without David's unique and deeply valuable insight to make sense of it all. We must learn from his optimism and his belief that we can always do better. It's up to us now to try and make the world differently going forwards, and to continue to ask the big questions that need to be asked. We must remember that the world is what we make it through our ongoing actions and our choices. It is not static. We must learn from David Graeber.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really lovely.
Yes, beautifully put. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you're, it looked like you were reading something. I don't know if you feel like putting it in the chat. Something I think I would like to read again later, if you don't mind. Jinka, I see that you have your hand up. Did you want to turn to speak? You kind of stood up. What was that? Does anybody else have anything they would like to share? We have about 15 minutes left in our scheduled time. I'll share the chat. I'll save the chat and I can send it out to everyone that was registered. And if you, I don't know how people have gotten here through so many different channels, but I'll also put the school's email address in the chat in case you want to follow up and find something that was in there. Do people want to do like another small breakout room? We can do like another little cocktail party. I have one last paragraph from Kropotkin's Mutual Aid that I would love to read because I really enjoyed it. Oh, Hippo is raising your hand. Hi, go ahead.
Sorry, I just couldn't find the raise hand button. It was in response to what Adam have said about the social bubble. And so I don't know if you know LSE Professor Nick Long. He during this pandemic, he's been pretty busy and writing different stuff. He had a few articles, an opinion articles on social circles, but I'm trying to find the link right now. He had made a few recommendations. Him and his colleagues have done some, I think, field work in New Zealand where they effectively used social circles and to essentially get their numbers down to 0 domestically. And so it's two interesting reads, I think. I'm gonna try to find the link.
Thank you. Should we do another, let's see, how many people do we have? 9 breakout rooms, 3 breakout rooms of 3? Oh, go ahead, Justin.
I've got a short poem that I thought I'd share.
Please.
So this is a poem that I came up with while I was reflecting on David's original bullshit jobs essay after reading it a number of times. So it's pretty short. So it's called What Potential? So when you say I've got potential, what is it that you mean? Potential to grind away, sitting around a fucking office all day and doing things that help nobody and don't really need to be done anyway.
Thank you.
I've written some like stand-up comedy material in part based on some of his ideas and his way of thinking.
How about this? Let's do like a 6-minute breakout room session so people have a chance to like mingle a little bit in like a smaller setting. And then when we come back, will you maybe send us out back into the world with some of your comedy? Does that sound like a good plan? Okay, let's do that. All right, I'm gonna put everyone into breakout rooms.
I have to leave for a short while, but I will return probably in about an hour. So thank you, and I'll see you guys again.
Okay, here we go. I think I'm mixing everybody up again. We'll see. Okay. What's up, honey? Okay. I think, Sarah Marie, I think you can just join whichever room you want if you go to the breakout rooms, or maybe I can put you in.
Thank you. Just, yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
Hippo, I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
This is great.
Yeah, it was. It's. I think it's great to. I think it's just great to connect. I don't think I would otherwise have the chance. And you know, like Nika said, I don't think there's. You know, I think it sounds sad, but if not for this chance, we won't get to talk to each other and know that we exist in different parts of the world.
Can I sit with you?
Yeah, come sit with me. My daughter is going to come sit with me. People are coming back. We're back. I think, is this everybody? Yes. So we have about 6 minutes left. Justin, I would really love to hear stand-up comedy, in my opinion, is one of the highest forms of cultural production. And I love people who have the courage to work in that way. So thank you so much for sharing.
I can't share it just yet.
Oh, okay.
I just need to remind myself of it because it's been a while since I've done it.
Sure. It's a party. Do you guys want to like listen to some dance music? Or if anybody else wants to chime in and share. Oh, how about I'll share a little bit of Kropotkin's, this paragraph of Kropotkin's Mutual Aid that I have really been enjoying. This is on in this little pamphlet. Moreover, it is evident that life in societies would be utterly impossible without a corresponding development of social feelings, and especially of a certain collective sense of justice growing to become a habit. If every individual were constantly abusing its personal advantages without the others interfering in favor of the wronged, no society life would be possible. And feelings of justice develop more or less with all gregarious animals. Whatever the distance from which the swallows or the cranes come, each one returns to the nest it has built or repaired last year. If a lazy sparrow intends appropriating the nest which a comrade is building, or even steals from it, a few sprays of straw, the group interferes against the lazy comrade, and it is evident that without such interference being the rule, no nesting associations of birds could exist. We have any number of direct observations of the peace that prevails in the nesting associations of birds, the villages of the rodents, and the herds of grass eaters. While on the other side, we know a few sociable animals which so continually quarrel as the rats in our cellars do, or as the morses which fight for the possession of a sunny place on the shore. Sociability thus puts a limit to the physical struggle and leaves room for the development of better moral feelings. The high development of parental love in all classes of animals, even with lions and tigers, is generally known. As to the young birds and mammals whom we continually see associating, sympathy, not love, attains a further development in their associations. Leaving aside the really touching facts of mutual attachment and compassion, which have been recorded as regards domesticated animals and with animals kept in captivity, we have a number of well-certified facts of compassion between wild animals at liberty. Compassion is a necessary outcome of social life, but compassion also means a considerable advance in general intelligence and sensibility. It is the first step towards the development of higher moral sentiments. It is, in its turn, a powerful factor of further evolution. We have about 2 minutes left. Sarah, did you want to make any closing comments?
Let's see. I think feel like I've talked a little bit, but I want to just thank everybody for their words and yeah, for sharing. And Justin, thank you so much. And yeah, like I said, everyone. I've definitely learned something from everyone that's shared, and Yeah, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. So I'm really glad we came together. I'm glad people made the time. And
Sarah,
I think
Marie, thank you so much for being my partner in this very spontaneous endeavor. I'm really grateful to you for your initiative and for being so open to my participation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, thank you, and thanks to the school for, you know, for making it all happen. I mean, at this particular point in time, that it's possibly impossible to gather without some technical foundation. So thank you for laying that out.
You folks did a wonderful job. Just wanted to say thank you. And mutual aid, yay.
Yay. Did your baby stay asleep, Dawn?
So far, it's amazing. Yes, he has. Yep.
Congratulations. I really appreciate you coming, and I know that parenting in combination with almost anything at this time is extraordinarily difficult, and so I just, you know, take a moment to applaud all the parents, because we're adapting fast.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin.
Yeah, I thought I'd just do like a random kind of improv bit on
All right,
kind of bullshit jobs inspired.
let's hear it.
It's kind of based on what I did before, but kind of just made up on the spot. So we'll see how it goes.
Fantastic. Well, unless anybody else wants to be on the stack, I think I'm going to have Justin kind of improv us out. I hate to say goodbye, but I hope people will certainly be in touch. I put the email address for the free school in the chat, and if you registered for the event, I'll follow up and send the chat to everybody else. Okay, take it away, Justin.
Okay, so the politicians keep saying lately, oh no, coronavirus is going to take our jobs. Why exactly is this considered a problem? That's what I'm wondering. I'm thinking it's a choice that we make. The lack of work equal destitution. It's a bit of a nasty choice, really. It's just work. It's just stuff that's made up to keep us busy. We all know this. Why do we pretend it has a point? And it's kind of tragic, but it's true.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you guys, I know we're streaming live. How about I stop the live stream? Can we stop the live stream so that we can just be not streaming? Okay, hold on. Okay, bye everybody on the live stream. Thanks.
Thank you for